Hi, and welcome to In Brandon. Today we're continuing with our little series on this year's Royal Manitoba Winter Fair. And with me is Ron Christensen and James Montgomery from the fair. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So, in this portion, we're going to be talking about volunteering at the fair. How many volunteers does it take to put on this massive event?
It literally takes hundreds of volunteers. The Provincial Exhibition of Manitoba has a board of 39 volunteer directors, and there's literally hundreds and hundreds of volunteers that help at the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair each year. Some as individuals, some as part of groups. We work with groups like the Rotary Club and the Lions Club that will bring a group of volunteers to do a piece for us. The Kiwanis Club is another group that helps us, and those kind of things. And so many different pieces of the fair. Each committee has their needs and has some people they know with the skill set. So it's such a diverse group that there's literally hundreds and hundreds of them, and it'd be hard to come up with an exact number.
So what are some of the specific areas that volunteers work in, and where can they work?
You could volunteer with the horse show. I had a little girl come up to me at one of the places I volunteer. I volunteered for the Wheat Kings, and she came up to me and said, I volunteer at the Hunter Jumper, and she had a Royal Manitoba Winter Fair hat on. So you could volunteer there. You could volunteer in the Royal Farmyard. You could volunteer at the trade show, in the main arena. Really, we in the MNP Hall, in an amphitheater, with any sort of the kids' activities. Really, the whole building needs volunteers.
We have a mascot that we have out there, so that's a volunteer that covers some territory, and that's kind of a two-person job because the mascot kind of needs a handler. Studley is our mascot and has to behave himself, so we need a handler to help with Studley. And James mentioned young people volunteering. We've got all ages that volunteer. If you are under 16, we need to have you with an adult as well, so that it's everything's safe and working good for everybody. So volunteers in all kinds of parts of it. Volunteers have started weeks ago getting things ready. There's a crew working to get things cleaned up and paint some of the jumps and all those kind of things. So volunteers throughout the year, but really ramp up here over these next few weeks.
And why do you think so many people want to volunteer and help out with the Winter Fair?
Yeah, in Brandon, people are very committed to the community, and you volunteer at places that you believe in. I volunteer at a few different places in Brandon here, and they're organizations or groups or functions that I truly believe in. And the reason people volunteer at the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair is because it's important to Brandon and because they want to contribute back. Brandon is very, very good at attracting large events, and one of the reasons for that is our strong volunteer base.
And it's a family culture in some cases. We've got kids and parents and grandparents that all volunteer sometimes at the same time, or that the grandkids are volunteering now because the parents and the grandkids did. So there's family names that have been associated as volunteers with our outfit for generations. So it's a core value for southwestern Manitoba, and it's what makes our organization able to do what we do.
Right. So if somebody wants to volunteer, do they have to volunteer for the whole show, for every day of the show?
If they're willing to, that's great. But we need volunteers all the time. And if somebody's got a couple hours available on a certain day or leading up to the fair, those we can find a spot for just about any kind of a volunteer.
Right. So how would somebody go about becoming a volunteer?
Randy McDonald is our volunteer coordinator. Randy at provincialx.com, or you can phone our office 726-3590, and or on our website, royalmanitobawinterfair.com. All those places can get you hooked up, or if you know people that are working with the fair, volunteer and talk to them and see if there's parts of their area. But you can get a hold of Randy at our office and we'll find a spot for you, find out what you want to do.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming in and letting us know about all the volunteer opportunities and volunteering at the Winter Fair.
Thank you, and we'll see you at the fair.